Hello and welcome. Today, my guest is Claus Risager, the CEO for Blue Ocean Robotics, and he's here today all the way from Denmark.
Hello.
Hello, Claus, and welcome.
Good.
This is fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting.
You're very welcome. It's so good to have you here. It's really interesting that we're doing this because my other guest, George Brown, he's traveled in from Newark. He flew in, has booked the hotel for 2 nights, and then he's off to Denmark. So I think the cost of the trip is around about £12,000. He's used 2 tons of carbon, and yet we're doing the same thing. And there you are at your desk, sat there, and presumably will be finished in half an hour or so. So it's tremendous.
It is. It's a great invention. You save the travel cost, you save the travel time, and you save the planet for a lot of CO2 emission.
And tell me a little bit about your town, because I always say it wrong. I always say it as Odense, but it's really Odense. Is it Odense? Is that
in Danish? Yeah, it's Odense. But that's a difficult word for foreigners.
It is.
So Odense is really fine. Everyone will understand what that is.
Yes, but it's a really nice point, and it's the reason why Blue Ocean Robotics is so successful, isn't it? It's the technology and the resources that you have in the city are all very much focused around robot technology.
Oh yeah, it's quite impressive what has been achieved with the cluster here. It's the second largest robotics cluster in Europe. We are the leading cluster in modern industrial robots and professional service robots. So there's more than 100 robot companies in the city, more than 1,000 jobs. And it's a rather small city. It's less than 200,000 people.
Yeah.
So quite impressive because we're competing against other cities like Munich and Stuttgart and so on.
Yeah, it's a really nice, a lovely success story for you in the city. I also know Nordic Eye have invested with you. And what's that like now that you have the investment and support with them? How has life changed for you?
It has changed quite dramatically because we used to develop robots for large corporations. They were funding the development, and then we earned a royalty based on their sales. But the value creation lies with those that owns the products, the robots. So that was with the big corporations. But now with venture, we're back with venture capital, Nordic Eye as a lead company there. We own the robots ourselves. So the value creation lies within Blue Ocean Robotics. So this is a great change. And we have much more control over the development and the commercialization, and that is also a great thing.
Yes. In the news now with the Chinese flu, I'm aware that the work that you've done with places like Africa and Ebola, your product, the Beam product here that we're using for this interview, that is able to go and see patients where many doctors, 2, 3, can actually sort of log in to the system. And they can see me as a patient without actually being in the room and infected. And in fact, I understand the camera has got the ability to look at the back of my retina. What other robots do you have that you market?
Well, if we talk about the Beam first, it's used in 2 different main applications. One is for the traveling, where people reduce travel time, travel cost, and much more reduce CO2 emission. We talked about that already. Other applications are where people need to be present, and you need experts to get in, do a certain job. We see this, for example, in industry, where if you have a security safety organization, and they're going to do safety checks on the machines and their production, rather than travel around and go and see things, you can put up the beams and they can connect to the beams. They go down to the machinery, they check it, they get the approvals done. Or you can have doctors that are connecting to the beams, visit the patients, talk to the patients and nurses and so on. So you can get expert doctors in and out very fast. And you can put equipment on the beams, which makes their job even easier on the beam than if they were there real life. Like zooming in with cameras and stuff like that.
And I know, obviously, we're here in my house today, and it's it's actually really, really nice to have. It's got a nice docking station. It's almost like every home should have one. How does it walk through an organization and open doors? I mean, do you find that a problem, and stairs? How do you overcome those situations?
It can navigate over the doorsteps. There's not a problem with that. It's many organizations have adapted the beams and they work in a different way. So some years ago, you had meeting rooms, you had a teleconferencing system on the wall. Everyone that should be engaged there should be in the room and talk. But now it's much more freestyle. Like you connect, if you're the man of a small team, you connect, you go down, you talk to people, you help them solve problems. So it's much more ad hoc. You don't have to ask people to be in a certain room or something. You go to them, you inspect things, or you talk to people. But it's changing the way people are working because you are mobile now. You can get around. You can do things with it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I can see the cost savings and the way it can work within an organization. I mean, I should mention we're at my home here, and I'm recently moved in, and I'm on a temporary wireless network with just the most appalling internet access. And this is working fantastic.
Yeah. Normally there's never any problem. It's very stable on the network, but of course, if the network really goes down, you lose connection, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's pretty stable, and as bandwidth is constantly growing, it becomes a smaller and smaller problem.
Yeah.
So this is it's working really fine.
This is working great considering the situation I have here at the home. But you also have other robots, don't you? And I know there's a medical device that you've designed for cleaning. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's. You're thinking about the UV disinfection robot.
That's the one, yes.
So this robot is really interesting, and also talking about the coronavirus, MRSA,
yes.
SARS, all those kind of problems. Because what the robot is really doing is that it has a tower with UVC light. That means that when the cleaning staff have done the normal cleaning in a patient room or an operating theater, the robot moves in afterwards, and then it exposes all surfaces with UVC light and kills like 99.9999% of all bacteria in 10-15 minutes.
It's really effective.
So it's basically killing the bacteria and removing all of that. And you cannot, as a bacteria, you cannot hide. You cannot be resistant to that. You die if you're a bacteria.
You do. But you also have another advantage. With your robot, it can actually maneuver around the hospital, can't it?
With the robot, you can start already when they get into the bed. The robot can help them get in and out of the bed, but it can also assist them in walking, gait training, and so on. So that's a new product which is coming into the market this year. And it's the first time this has been combined. Blue Ocean Robotics has this logo, and then on the bottom it says, for humans. Because we're always thinking about how can we make robots that can help people have a better life.
Enhance.
This is important. And I think also the UN sustainability goals, they are always on our mind when we choose new robots to build.
That's fantastic.
So we're very careful about these things.
Yeah, I absolutely love your company. I think it's fantastic.
Thank you.
But tell us a little bit more, because you've got some plans for 2020, haven't you?
2020 is a really important year for Blue Ocean Robotics because we have our beam robot and we have the UV disinfection robot. Those two are going through a very steep scale-up growth phase in the market. We are now selling in more than 40 countries around the world. And so the growth numbers in sales and production, that's just being ramped up all the time. So right now we are hiring something like 20 people a month.
Wow.
And we've been doing that since August, September. And that is going to continue throughout 2020. So it's a really crazy journey. So it's like adding 20-25% of people every month. That's an enormous thing for us. And it also means we go from being very heavy on development to now have a full-blown company with development and production and sales, and all the functions are basically up and running now. It's a really interesting period in our life.
It's been great because
robotics.
I must have met with you about 12 months ago, and in that time you forged ahead tremendously. In addition to the investment that Nordic Eye brought, what other help did they have?
Yeah, it has been extremely valuable because Nordic Eye brings in the venture knowledge. How do you create growth based on venture capital? How do you do that? And this is something that has been really valuable. And it's all the way down to how do you organize sales? How do you build up that? How do you get recurring revenue in for your robots?
Yeah.
How do you introduce a robot as a service model, not just selling robots? So they've been very active on helping us on this. So I think it has been the single most important thing that has happened in Blue Ocean Robotics. That is actually the partnership we have had and have still with Nordic Eye. It's really valuable for us.
That's fantastic to hear. Well, look, Claus, I know you're a busy guy. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting. It has been a real pleasure.
You're welcome.
I'm in charge again. Yeah.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Well, what a fantastic success story Blue Ocean Robotics is. I hope you enjoyed it. I found that incredibly insightful. So hopefully you enjoyed that as much as I did. If you'd like to get in touch, see the email below, and thank you for watching.